Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Om Samasta Jana Kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Om Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langhayate Girim Yatkripatamaham Vande Paramanandamadhavam. Om Achaturvadano Brahma Dvibahuraparo Harihi Abhalalochana Shambhu Bhagavan Badarayanaha. Om Dakshine Lakshmano Yasya Vame Cha Janakatmaja Purato Marutiryasya Tam Vande Raghunandanam. Hari Om. On Lakshmana's inquiry and request to give him the knowledge that will help him cross the ocean of samsara quickly, Bhagavan Shri Rama first said, as a preparatory means, one needs to study the Veda and perform all actions in the right spirit of dedication, and as a result, one would gain purity of mind. Further, one would be endowed with the fourfold qualifications, and the old habits and karma will slowly drop off. And in this ripe condition, one must approach the Guru. The Guru first indicates that actions are inevitable for any jiva. Act we must. However, action is taking us to the state of being an enjoyer or sufferer of the result. Again I act, again I experience the result, and this cyclic existence begins. This is the one which produces the body or gives us the birth, and lifetime after lifetime we are living in this cycle which is called as samsara or bhava. How to get out of it or how to cross over it? Actions will not help me, because actions are a part of this cycle. Therefore, I have to understand what is the root cause. The root cause being ignorance of my own self. Therefore, it is only knowledge that will be able to liberate me. Thinking of this, some people who have been here referred to as the Samuchayavadins, they all have been, their view has been here mentioned elaborately by Bhagavan Shri Rama, saying that all the scriptures, so the first basis is scriptures. Scriptures talk about actions and performance of actions and penalty in non-performance of action, and all this only indicates that knowledge alone will not suffice. There has to be some assisting action. So action along with knowledge will be able to liberate. Knowledge alone is not sufficient. So there is also a counter argument. No, knowledge is efficient enough to get us across this bondage. But he says it is not, because even among actions, there is performance of some main action. It always requires a support of some auxiliary actions. For example, if one yajna has to be done, it is not an independent action. There are many other actions which have to go along with it to support it so that the yajna is possible. Similarly, knowledge alone cannot. This is the argument of the Samuchayavadins. Now, replying or responding to that, Bhagavan Shri Rama, in this 14th verse that we saw, he said that this view is held by some faulty logicians. They are thinking logically, but the logic is faulty, fallacious logic. It is not correct. Why is it not correct? Drishta virodha karana, because the knowledge and action being opposed to each other is very, very evident. Drishta. What is it evident? He says the very foundation of action is an entity or ego. And ego or entity is born when I do not know myself, but I think myself to be something I am not. Dehatma bhava is necessary for any action to be performed. An agency is required, agent or the kartrutva, and that kartrutva is in the identification of the self with the body. So when I consider myself as the body, only then I start acting. When I consider myself as the mind, I start feeling. When I consider myself as the intellect, I start thinking. When I consider myself as the eyes, I start seeing. When I consider myself as the ear, I start hearing. So there is some identification that precedes action. It may be active or passive. Just sitting and watching. I become the watcher when I am identified with my instruments of watching. Till that time, there is no watching happening. Eyes are there, light is there, object is there. But when I identify with those eyes, that's when I say, I am seeing. So, passive action or active, involved action, that also, it needs small or big, long term, short term. Every action needs some agent that is born out of identification of the self with the body, which it is not. So the basis of action is dehabhiman, considering myself to be the body. When we say body, we should understand gross body and subtle body. The senses and organs of action and the mind, intellect, everything. But what is the foundation of knowledge? Gata ahankrititaha vidya prasiddhyati. So what about knowledge? Knowledge takes place when this ego is dissolved or destroyed. Once this ego goes away, only then knowledge happens. Till the time I am considering myself to be something else, I cannot know who I really am. I have to drop that wrong identification in order to know my true nature. Till the time I think I am the body, I will never be able to know what I really am. So I have to drop it off. That dropping of the ego is essential for knowledge, whereas that action needs the ego. If we understand, there is this beautiful example Puja Guruji gives. I want to watch TV and sleep simultaneously. At the same time, I want to sleep and watch TV. Is it possible? Watching TV, one of them only can happen at this. No. When we sit and we sitting in front of the TV, we sleep. If we are sleeping, we are not watching TV. If we are watching, we are not sleeping. Why? Because one needs the eyes to be open, the other needs the eyes to be closed. So, one is possible only when eyes are open, watching TV. The other is possible only when eyes are shut, sleeping. So these two are opposed to each other because the necessary condition of both this is not possible at the same time. Similarly, for action, ego needed. For knowledge, ego should not be there. It is not that ego not needed. If it is not needed merely, then we say, let it be there. But it is not needed. It should not be there. It should be destroyed. So here, ego should be there, and here, ego should not be there. Completely opposite. It is not that ego is not required. It is not like that. It should not be there. Its absence is required. Here, its presence is required. How can ego be present and absent at the same time? So therefore, these two are not possible. This is the reason Bhagavan has given. And further, he is elaborating this only, that how knowledge itself can ensure that not only the ego, but the actions performed by the ego also disappears. How? He is saying here in verse number 15. विशुद्ध विज्ञान विरोचनांचिता विद्यात्मवृत्तिश्चरमेति भण्यते उदेति कर्माखिलकारकादिभिः निहन्ति विद्याखिलकारकादिकम् Vidya bhanyate. It is a bhanyate means is called, is considered, is known. What? This is called knowledge. What is called knowledge? See, knowledge of an object also we are familiar is called knowledge. So if we say, I know English, is that knowledge? Say, it is knowledge. I know English, yes. I know this person, I know this place, I know this action, I know this experience. So knowing an object is what is commonly considered as knowledge. So if somebody says, we are studying this scripture to know ourselves, I know myself. Who are you? My name is so-and-so. I am the son or daughter of so-and-so. I am the father or mother of so-and-so, brother or sister of so-and-so. I was born in this place, brought up in this place. I have studied this. I have gone to these places, I have had these kind of experiences. I am a very temperamental person, I am a very peaceful person, I am all the time agitated person, I am a little mad person only. I am a very knowledgeable, learned person, I am all the time confused person. I know so much about myself. Oh, so much about myself. Any of these descriptions, the scriptures say, is not you. Name, body. Son, daughter, brother, sister, body. Because all this relationship did not come before this body was born. Okay. My dispositions, moods, mind. Okay. My understanding, abilities, intellect, education, intellect. I have traveled to these places, I have experienced these things, mind, intellect again. I have seen these things, senses. Everything is only talking about the instruments. You are none of these things. Oh, so this is not knowledge. So we were thinking this is knowledge. So with this knowledge, action can go. Yes. But this knowledge is also like action only. It is strengthening the ego only. So this is not called knowledge. I know so much. I have so many degrees. Not only my visiting card, my door also has all my degrees listed there. Because that is the only use of it. It is not coming useful anywhere in the world. So only to list it down under my name so that people say, oh, double PhD, oh, you have studied here. All that I have to write on my door also, and I have to put on my visiting card also, where there is no space for my phone number because so many degrees I have taken. So this is all, but I am talking about one of the instruments I am using. It is only nourishing the ego. Somebody introduces us, what happens to us? There was this one man. He was being introduced, and with every sentence that was spoken in his introduction, he was to go back a little bit on the chair. Feeling, because the chest expands. So he was going back. Abruptly, that person who was introducing stopped introducing. So they asked, what happened? He said, it is incomplete. What happened? So he said, if I spoke one more sentence, you will fall. So I stopped here. Because you are going back with every sentence, you are going back. Why? Ego. Increasing. This is not knowledge as per scriptures. This is also one of the actions, the act of knowing something as an object. When it is object, it is not knowledge which is talked about here. Then what is knowledge? Here it is specified. What is knowledge? What is vidya that we are talking about, which will eliminate the core avidya? Because this kind of nourishing my ego and having so much layer after layer about myself, this is only actually nourishing the ego. How can this be vidya? This is more and more avidya, layers and layers of avidya. It cannot be vidya. If, for example, I have, this often happens in various places. Let us say the ceiling has a crack, roof has a crack, and then the rain comes, little bit rain also falls, it starts leaking. Now there is some big program, some guest is coming, etc. What do? Plaster it from both sides. Temporarily it will stop. Now let us have the program. Done. Now, after that program is over, again it rained, again it got opened up. Again there was some program lined up, again plaster. Layer after layer after layer, plaster after plaster after plaster. That moisture which is caught inside is always caught inside. Doesn't come out. This happens practically, we all do that. In our homes also this happens sometimes. It's festival day, let us first lipa poti kar do, khatam kar do. Don't let anybody know. Guests will come, they will not know, upar se laga diya hai upar se. Cosmetic treatment done. But what is the cure? What is the root cause? Moisture has entered. Now what do? You have to remove all the plaster layers and then expose it to the sun. It has to dry for minimum 15 days. In between, if it rains again, gone. Again start counting from 1. 15 days, it has to completely dry. After that, you put the waterproofing chemicals and all, and then it will be solved. What we have to do? Remove the layers. Not apply layer after layer. Why? Because that fellow is sitting inside. He is the one who is causing problems. Similarly, this ego is sitting inside and we are putting layer after layer. Graduation, post-graduation, MPhil, PhD, double PhD, professor here, professor that university, visiting lecturer there. There are so much. Layer. Main problem, ego. Who is there? Sitting inside under all these layers. What is real Vidya? Removes all the layers. It does not like layers. And that is why people are scared of Vidya. Knowledge, very difficult. Why? Because give up everything. That is a problem. It is not giving up things. Things giving up is easy. It is giving up our baggage, the layers that we have created. This is the ego. So that is why what is Vidya? Here it is being defined by Bhagavan Shri Ramji. He is saying, Vidya Bhanyate. This is called Vidya. What is this? What is called Vidya? Saying, first, Vishuddha Vijnana Virochana Anchita. This is one word. That which is Anchita, kindled by Virochana, the brilliance of Vishuddha Vijnana, a pure mind intellect. That which is kindled by or kindled in a pure mind intellect. So first of all, purity of mind. Purity of mind means what? We often talk about this purity of mind, purity of mind. What does it really mean? Purity of mind means what? What is mind? Mind is thoughts. What is purity of mind? Pure thoughts. What does pure thoughts mean? Purity of mind means, first, it does not give us any kind of agitation or it does not pull us down. The quality of thoughts. That is one. Purity essentially has certain indicators. What does purity of? One is quality of thoughts. The thoughts should not be things that give us agitation, that pull us down, make us lazy, make us incompetent. Because sometimes people feel people who are not able to succeed in the worldly life go to spirituality, become a sannyasi. Why? You can't succeed. बहुत कोशिश किया, पास ही नहीं हो रहा था एग्जाम में. मैंने बोला तू सन्यासी बन जा, कुछ और कर नहीं सकता तो go to some ashram. This is the common belief. Once actually Gurudev was sitting in the US. This actually happened. And one Amma who had asked this question and who was present there, she only told us. Gurudev was sitting, it was an informal gathering, he was laughing and making everyone laugh. And that was the time, this Amma who told us, she asked a question, Gurudev, how did you get inspired? This is a very common question that every sannyasi is asked. How did you get inspired? How did you turn towards this spirituality? How did you come? Gurudev was in one of his, humorous moods. So he was sitting there and all were like, known mission members, no public, no new person, all the inner family members like. So he was just sitting there. He said, I have never told this to anyone, I am telling you. So what? Said, it is actually love failure. Said, oh, everyone, and this Amma is particularly, majority of them knew he is joking. But this Amma, what happened, Swamiji? What happened? So I said, I was in college. And this, young girl, took admission in that same college, and she came, and I was so attracted to her. And then we started dating. We were going along together for some time. And then suddenly, after so many years, she got some other place, some admission she got. She left me abruptly. I was left alone. And therefore, I saw, what should I do? I went to the Himalayas. Nothing worked out. So I could not find any other girl. So I went to the Himalayas. Now everyone burst out into laughter, and this Amma said, I was looking at Gurudev. Oh, okay. Why are you all laughing? Gurudev is telling us how his own path. She was so sincerely still listening, Shraddha Bhakti person. Guru is saying so, and Guru is joking. Because it is, and Gurudev used to say in so many of his talks, he used to say, if you cannot succeed in worldly life, spiritual life is not for you. In worldly life, that is why to students and all, even today we find so many letters of his who has written to school children. He has written very, very clearly there that why did you come second in the next exam? Go and push that person who was first away and come and stand in that first position, because that is where I am standing. So if you want to meet me, push that person away from between you and me. So don't come second, come first. He used to inspire people. We have also heard Gurudev would say, get out, go and study. If you can't succeed in your examinations, school exams, how will you succeed in spirituality? Go. So it was not, Gurudev was very clear, and here Bhagavan is also saying very clearly that it is not meant for people who are weak. It is not meant for people who are not able to succeed elsewhere. It is meant for the strong people. Swami Vivekananda used to say, I want 100 youngsters whose arms are made of steel and minds made up of the same material with which the thunderbolt is made. You give me such 100 youngsters, I will change the whole nation. He knew, and one of Swami Vivekananda's favorite quotes from the Upanishads is from the Mundaka Upanishad, which says, Nayam Atma Balahinena Labhyaha. This self-knowledge is not available for a weakling. Balam. This purity of mind is this balam. What is the quality of the thoughts that I have? Is it pulling me down? Is it thoughts of laziness, indolence? Is it quality of agitation, jealousy, desire, anger, greed? These are all weaknesses of the mind. This is not purity. Purity is where the quality of thoughts is of peace, cheer, satisfaction, contentment. This is quality of thought. Second aspect of purity of mind is quantity of thoughts. The mind, if it is gurgling with number of thoughts, it is not pure mind. Quantity also. Quantity of thought means obviously it will be a lot of rajasic thoughts. So many thoughts going in. That is why it is said even those visuals, nowadays we see that happening, whether we see on the internet or even in the TV and all, any advertisements, etc., if we find, many of them, they have quick changing visuals. Tuck, 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 tuck. In 15 seconds, there will be 50 visuals that will change. The mind is not able to process any visual correctly. And that is the reason we have this attention deficiency kinds of diseases. That is the reason we are having it. Why? What happened? I don't know. And when that pace reduces, the mind cannot process it because it is not used to slow pace. So it becomes impatient. And the fast pace, anyway, it cannot catch up with. So both ways problem. So that is the reason here it is said that this Vishuddha, so that quantity of thoughts, that peaceful thing. That is why even if it is a so-called harmless cartoon, harmless only. Cartoon, what will be there? There won't be violence, there will be any content which will create any this thing in the minds of the children. So we think. But even in a cartoon, what do we find? The pace of the cartoon. Somebody is here, in 1 second, trunk, gone. Now this is not a natural pace. The mind is not able to process it. It's struggling. So many thoughts are coming. Oh, it went. Then what happened? It happened. Over. And when we look at the real pace of life, even that is why movie is not considered to be a very great habit with respect to a spiritual life. Now why? Because movie also has a pace which is unnatural. The hero from an infant grows to a 30-year-old in 1 minute. He is riding the bicycle, the camera goes to his legs and suddenly comes up, he is already a 30-year-old. He goes and hits, one punch he hits, 5 people fall. Standing there were only 2, but when he hits there are 5 people. Immediate cloning. And the 5 gundas are falling apart and he is going and standing there. Now, what am I processing here? What is it? So many thoughts, because it is that struggle between the reality and this, what I am seeing, observing. That is why we get impatient. Whether it is social media, whether it is any, we say that attention span is reducing. Nowadays even reels people feel it is long. 1 minute, too long. Can we make 20-second reels? Why? Because 1 minute too long. 20 second, what will you say? Hari Om, we are studying Ram Geeta, over. Now, what content will we give in that? Now, next video you continue. By the time that previous is forgotten. Why? Because in between so many have been seen. So it is self-inflicted destruction, this is. We have destroyed, chosen to this quantity of thoughts, so many this is considered to be unhealthy. It is not pure mind. And the third is direction of the thoughts. Where is it leading me to? If it is leading me to more and more worldly pursuit, then what Vishuddha Vijnana am I talking about? Is it elevating me to something higher? So that is Vishuddha Vijnana Virochana Anchita. So this brilliance, what is this brilliance? This brilliance is one which has gone through study, listening, Shravanam, that same pure mind and intellect which has gone through the process of reflection, Mananam, and then contemplation, Nididhyasanam. In that seasoned, purified mind, that which takes place is called knowledge. In what form does it take place? What is the nature? How does it take place? He says, Charama Atma Vrittihi. Charama, the final, ultimate. What is it? Atma Vritti. That thought, now this word thought has to be used here because there is no other word. But it is not a thought actually, it's a thoughtless thought. Vritti word is actually a thought modification only, but we'll see what it is. Atma Vritti. Atma Vritti means the thought of I. What is this thought of I? We have to understand. It is not talking about that ahankara which is the I thought. It is not talking about that. That I have done this, I have known this, I have gone there, I know this, I know. That it is not that I thought. The thought of I means, Atma Vritti means, so far identified with my instruments, I have had the sense of I. So, I am so many years old, body. I am hungry or thirsty, pranas. I am seeing, hearing, indriyas. I am feeling, mind. I am thinking, intellect. All these sense of I is because of the identification of all this. But how do I know all these instruments? Who knows these instruments? Who is the witness, the observer, the sakshi of all these instruments? Immediately the answer from within will come, I know. That is also a thought. But when we go behind the curtain of that I thought, say, who knows that I thought? Who is watching and observing that I thought? Who is it who is witnessing that I thought? Not affected by anything that is associated with that I thought. The one who knows that I am. Not a thought. That is called Charama Atmavritti. It appears like a thought, yet it is not a thought. I am the witness of my mind, intellect, body, etc. Okay. I am witness. This is also a thought. Who knows this thought? Again, perhaps there may be this answer that may come. I am. Okay. Again a thought. I am not interested in a thought. Going behind that. The one who knows this I thought, that I am. This experience, this awareness of the real I, which is beyond all thought, that is called Charama Atma Vrittihi. That is the final experience as though there is a thought. But the identity is not the thought, but the witness of the thought, the substratum of the thought. That Charama, ultimate Atma Vritti, that I-ness experience, which is in the scripture also called as Akhandakara Vritti. It is also called Aham Brahmasmi. I am that Brahman. This I am that Brahman is not a thought. Otherwise we keep repeating, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman, I am Brahman. No. Who knows this thought? That knower, experiencer, witness. These words are also words. Because when there is no thought, what will this witness? There is no witness also. That identity, that state, that is here called as Vidya iti bhanyate. This is knowledge. Which means this I-ness, ego, cannot stay when this final thought of I am that ultimate witness, that also comes. And why is it called a thought? Yet it is not a thought. Because one thing is, for communication you need to use something. Otherwise, Guru, how will Guru teach? And he has to use words which we are familiar with. And as examples are given, when my hands are soiled, I wash my hands and use soap. Soap is also dirt only. Will I keep soap on my hands all the time? That is also dirt. But yet it is not dirt. It is a cleaning agent which cleans everything else and itself also gets washed off. So that is called the ultimate vritti. Means that it may appear as a vritti, but all the other vrittis are gone when it is there, and then it also kind of dissolves. There is nothing more required. I alone am. No thought is needed. Thoughts are dependent on me. I am not dependent on any thought. So this charama atma vrittihi vidya bhanyate, and it can take place only in the purified mind intellect equipment. Otherwise it cannot be. Such an instrument only which has the right quality, minimum quantity, and the elevating direction of thought, such purified mind intellect only this contemplation can happen. This is Vidya. Now, how does Vidya oppose action? So that we will see next class. But this is what is the knowledge, and not just object knowledge that I know there is some Brahman and it is of the nature of existence, consciousness, bliss. I know it very well. That is not Vidya. That is more baggage for us, information. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.